Okay, so we have here yellow ochre, burnt umber, ivory black, or any black, titanium buff. And we're going to work on this part of the door inside and bring in the door, like in the floor inside the store. So we don't cut it. We don't want to cut it completely. I'll show you right now instead of just talking about this. I'm mixing this. I'm mixing burnt umber and a bit of black. And I'm going to go in. So the darkest part is up where the tree is. That's the darkest part. So let's take some black, more black than brown. And I'm just going to take in, I think I'm sure it will need another layer. I'll go in. That's why usually I like to do the background first before I do the doors and trims, because I really have to be careful. Otherwise, if I'm doing it this way. But we can always clean up if we need to go over the trim or the door, doesn't matter. Turn around your canvas if it's easier. I'll show you. I'm going to turn it around in a minute. It's easier to have a straight line this way, to do a straight line. I'm not worried about the door frame because I can always adjust that when it's dry, when I'm done. Okay.
So is that door open?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So the door is closed and the other one is open. So the bottom part, okay, you know what? I'll give you some time to do this because, you know, this bottom part is a bit tricky. Okay. So now I'm going to take burnt umber and I'm going to put a bit of titanium buff in it. I'm going to come here and just in front of that door, not all the way down, just in front of the blue, the bottom of the door. Put that color. And push it in. Because that will show, it will show the floor when you go into the store, the bottom of that floor of this part goes in and then it disappears into darker. So usually you'll see more light at the bottom and then the upper part is the darkest part. So now I have this. I just pushed it in. It will dry darker, but still, it's fine right now. I'm going to take more now, again, bit of black and brown. I'm going to put another layer here, one more. And this one, this time it's going to be easier. it doesn't have to be solid black or solid brown. If you see a bit of brush strokes and lighter color, that's okay. Don't make it too solid. Usually when I get to the bottom part, I start adding more of the brown, less of the black. Okay, now I can adjust a bit more of the titanium back with the brown and adjust this. This is drying back. That gives the illusion of that this part here going into the store, the ground. And just slowly add more brown. So I have a soft transition from light to dark. Slowly keep adding brown. And that's it. Actually, since we're doing this, I'm just going to take more titanium buff, mix it with either black or both of them are fine, or brown, and more titanium buff in here. And I'm just with this part of the, this is a step higher, go up into the stone. Okay, so for the background or in the back of the actual window, we have to go dark. So what I'm doing is I used a bit of yellow ochre with burnt umber. I'm going to pull in a little bit of black as well. So the darker it is, the better. And we really don't need to have something specific. It doesn't have to look like anything in there. It could be a bunch of brush strokes. Okay, so let's take brown, and I can adjust the value. I can go darker, lighter when it's dry. I think I would like to do a bit of darks. So I'm going to take a bit of black and put it behind them. Just here. Wow, okay. Nice. Okay, so now I'm going to take just keep on darkening all this background here. Everything around the mannequins. I'm going to now at this point in the same colors I have here. I'm just going to take titanium buff. Put it on this wall. You see, all this looks dark right now, which is great because that's what we want. This is all in the window, inside the window. So it should be kind of a darker. Otherwise, it will compete with the tree when we start putting the tree on, and we need to push back all of this. We could use a bit of purple as well. You know, you could put a bit of ultramarine violet in there. And I'm going to do the same, just down here. Let's go back. Okay, so now here, a bit of dark, because I want to push back all of this. We don't have to do too much detail, but it's nice to see a little bit of something happening. Okay, so now I've done this. I'm going to take more of the yellow ochre. There's a curtain in the back, and it is a yellow ochre. But you know what? I'm going to just darken my yellow ochre a bit with touch of burnt umber. Yeah. Just kind of a suggestion. There's a curtain in the back. And because we're working on black, or dark, not black, dark color, it looks good. All right, so now we cleaned up a bit the walls and the background, and now I'm going to put the base of the mannequin, and it really doesn't have to look like anything specific. It's usually a wooden piece or old kind of design like that. And I'm using just yellow ochre, burnt umber, and a bit of titanium buff. Oh, I don't think so. Okay, so for the mannequins, for both, not mannequin, for the dresses and the skirt, instead of using white for the top shirt, I'm going to use pink. So I'm finding I might add highlights in titanium buff, but not white. So I'm going to use titanium buff. I'm going to take titanium buff right there. And I'm just dropping in it just some alizarin crimson and a little bit of black. Touch of black, very, very small amount. And that will make it really dark, kind of a soft, dark color. And I'm going to come right there. And I'm going to do the same with the dress hanging on this hanger. Same. I can add touch of a bit of the titanium buff mixed with the color I use for the part of the pieces here, but not much. Don't highlight it too much. We don't want to show it. We don't want it to come forward. Skirt, same, Blizzarding Crimson. Let's put some more Blizzarding here. Black to darken. And I'm just going to put this color in here for the skirt. All looks dark in here, which is perfect. That's what we want. And I'm going to take, at this point, push in a little bit of that pink that I had for the dress into that dark Blizzarding Crimson, and I'm just going to give the skirt a bit of detail. The only reason I'm doing this is just because the skirt really, the colors in the window will tie in very well with the tree when we put the colors on the tree. Now, I'm going to let this dry. Don't highlight it too much because you'll see in a minute. And if you go too light, like I did too, I went too light. I'm going to darken a bit.
Sorry, that's alizarin and titanium, yeah?
No, alizarin and black.
Oh, and black.
Yeah, put some black in your alizarin. And now for the girl's dress, the little girl, I'm going to use a touch of cadmium red medium, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put some black in it, a little bit of black, just to darken this. Okay, hold on. Let's put some titanium buff in it as well. We don't need it to be that dark. The hat is the same thing. Any color, Blizzarding Crimson or red, any color. 2 circles, 1 circle here, 1 circle here, down here. And I'm going to take the titanium buff and highlight the top of the hat. And the rim a bit. There's a little bit of there's a cushion in here behind the girl, not the girl, the dress. I'm mixing, I'm putting titanium buff and black in the same color pink that I had before. It's not, I didn't want to, it's not really about the window being a window or a hat in the window or a cushion in the window. Just wanted to, I just wanted to fill it with something. All right. One more thing we have to do, it's the hanger. So I'm taking titanium buff and let's see, a bit of black in here. And just do this. Shouldn't be too strong. This kind of hanger suggestion. That's it right there. We're good. That's all we need to do in this window. That's all. We don't need to do any more. Titanium buff and red. Now, first with no red, just titanium buff. And we're going to do this. Going to do the same idea that we did for the wall. Just a couple of dabs here and there on the window. Don't put too many. And then the same, I'm going to take, this is just alizarin crimson. Mix it with the titanium buff. And we're going to put a couple of dabs. Don't go too light. Just kind of a pink color. And put a couple on the skirt. Same. Yes, highlight this one here a bit. On the skirt, so it's a lighter. Okay, again, really not too much. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, for the ground here, this part, we're going to use titanium buff, a bit of burnt umber, and ultramarine, a bit of ultramarine violet. Now, we're not going to mix them, both of them at the same time. So we're just going to kind of sometimes put some ultramarine violet in my titanium buff, sometimes sometimes burnt umber. Okay, and do that. Do this. Let's now switch to burnt umber with the titanium buff. If you have ultramarine violet on your brush, that's okay. You don't need to clean it. I mean, I know for sure that this part is going to be darker because of the shadow in here, but that's okay. Just gonna go in and just put my highlights or the light colors. Now I'm going to take more again. And that will give me a lighter color base. Lighter color base.
Thank you.
And just go in. I don't want it to be too light because I can adjust my highlights and my values later on. See how it's drying darker? Already drying darker. Quite a bit of highlights around this area. Let's take just, I can take just titanium buff, put it in. Or actually, let's keep that titanium buff mixed with something. Let's try now to start darkening this with more ultramarine violet when we go here into this area. Right here. And switch to a round brush. Put some ultramarine violet and titanium buff in this area. And in here. When we get to this part, I'll show you how to do this because the bicycle is casting a shadow over this part of the floor. So now I just want to make sure I'm right in here. It looks a little bit now untidy, but that's okay. We are going to be doing more layers here. Oops, sorry. We're going to be doing more layers, so it doesn't matter. We're going to be adding more layers. Okay, so to put the shadows on, we're going to take ultramarine violet, a bit of the burnt umber and titanium buff. So we're mixing a darker brownish purple color. And with the corner of my brush, I'm just going to go in and put those shadows in. Don't worry about you leaving whites in between. That's not important because we can go back and do this, add this white or the dabs of sun, open it up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be done right now. Right now, we're just going to put the shadow of those, of the tree down here on an angle. Using the corner of my brush, dabbing down. And once I know that this is it, I don't want the shadow to be bigger than that. I'm going to be turning my brush around, and I'll show you in a minute. And I'm going to start dabbing softly. Like this. You could, if you like, you could easily as well leave it. You don't have to do it right now. Those little kind of dabs. Then later, and do it with a round brush, but I think it will work. Now with this tree, because it goes on a corner kind of. At this point, you know, I'm dabbing, or I'm putting the shadow on an angle coming this way. When I come to this area, it's going to turn. So I'm going to do this. It's going to flare like a open up like this. And here on the side, this way. Now this is right now, this is really heavy. And you can see it's like blocked, it's a block, it's heavy. So what I'm going to do in a minute. Okay. So I'm going to take my round brush, take titanium buff, a little bit of, maybe, we'll see if we need a little bit of ultramarine violet. And I'm going to do this. And right now, really, you look at it and it's like dabs of paint that really don't make sense. And they're messy. They look messy, but you'll see. I'm going to take some from here. This is a big part where the wall is. It has a light part here. Again.
It's just plain titanium buff, right?
Yep, stain titanium buff.
Okay.
Better if we wait. You know, personally, I think it's way better to wait for the paint to dry before we put the actual, because what's happening right now, I'm putting the dabs, but the color underneath is
Okay.
mixing with it, but it still works. And at this point, I can come here, clean up, and put a stronger highlight, which will make it look really interesting and beautiful. This is what I'm doing right now. I am actually reshaping my shadows using negative painting. And I usually don't go all the way down. I leave it darker, a bit darker at the bottom. So now I'm keeping an eye on the shape I'm creating with this highlights, with the negative painting. That cleans it up. It cleans up all of these little kind of brush strokes that I have here, and it makes it look way much more interesting actually. And it looks like it's dabs of sun at this point. You know, this is when I take my time and I sit down and work slowly, because every brush stroke I put in here makes a big difference to the shape of the shadow. Shadow is all of those brush strokes of the shadows are really important. I'm gonna leave this. I'm not gonna go too much in. Trying not to go all the way to the bottom of the canvas, but I am. Okay. Okay. Let me remove this. I'm going to zoom out. I'm gonna wait for this to dry. And then I'm gonna go in and clean up. 'Cause right now I can't clean up, the paint is still wet. I would like to clean up more, put kind of more defined dabs. And again, all of this will make sense, and it will look much nicer once the tree is there. All of this is preparation for the tree. So once we put the tree, it will change the whole thing. The tree is going to take over. Okay, so that's for this week, and we're done for this week.